Alright battlers, welcome back to a brand new video. This is actually a video that is the first of its kind on my channel. What you see in front of you is a website called pvpoke.com. So pvpoke is a simulation and ranking type website that's going to help you with all of your PvP matches. You have a few different options here: battle, train, rankings, team builder, and contribute. I recommend that you do contribute if you enjoy this service. It is funded fully by donation, so definitely check that out. For the purposes of this video, we're going to look at the second box called Train. So after you click that Train button, this is what you get. This is our training battle menu. As you can see, there's a lot of inputs here on the left and the right side. The left is your team and the right side is the settings. You can do 3 versus 3, 6 versus 6. As you see here, I'm scrolling through the different cups that you can participate in. There's also a difficulty bar. There's more explanation for that on the website as well if you want to know how good these different levels are. And then team selection is random, manual, or featured teams. You can actually pick teams that other players have used that have worked for them really well, including Alpha Phoebe, Dat Boy Muck, Gots, It's Smogon Devo, and a bunch of other ones here. Twastel, Verge, a bunch of really good players that you probably already heard of. So it's a really good basis if you're trying to build based on what other players are doing. Looking at the left side here, we're going to add our Pokemon in. I'm going to start typing the name and it will come up. And as you can see here, you have your fast move selection, charged move selections as well. All you need to do is just press on that little box and grab it, and it'll drop down the menu so you can change the moveset. For example, I'm changing Dynamic Punch here to Ice Punch. And essentially you can add your 3 Pokemon here to kind of build your own team and use that for your practice matches. So the coolest thing about the simulation is that it moves in real time, and this is essentially just like what you'd be doing if you were actually playing the game. Jumping right into an elite level simulation here, I open with Gardevoir, in comes Poliwrath. I've obviously won that lead, so the computer decides to swap out into Steelix. I'm going to swap in return to Lucario. So the Steelix has quite a bit of energy from the Dragon Tails it's been using, so I'm not sure if that's Earthquake. I do decide to shield. Turns out it was just Crunch. So as you can see, the computer is already baiting me with moves that aren't going to be super effective. It does get off that second Crunch, and I have enough energy for a Power Punch against this Poliwrath. I'm actually going to bait the computer as well. It does burn a shield. I apologize for the scrolling there. Sometimes when you're tapping on your phone, it can move around. And then I fire off the Shadow Ball, and I actually burn the second shield. So we're going to get off a Power Punch right before this Poliwrath does his in. I make a fast swap into Gardevoir to absorb this Power Punch. As you can see, it does hardly any damage at all. It's going to get off another Power Punch. I knew that was the move because it didn't have that much opportunity to get more energy. In comes Alolan Marowak here. I'm going to use a few moves with Gardevoir. This Gardevoir is running Charm. And again, all you need to do to fire off your fast move is just tap the screen just like you would normally. I think Shadow Ball might have been the right move there because we do go down. However, I have a healthy Haunter. Haunter is very squishy, so I'm going to shield this Bone Club, and then one Shadow Claw should do the trick. At the end of the match, you can see essentially what your Pokemon did in terms of damage and shield usage. As you can see, Haunter did a little bit of damage, Gardevoir and Lucario did a lot, and I used both shields on my Lucario for that game. Going right into another elite level simulation, we're going to win the lead again against Poliwrath. In comes Alolan Marowak. I'm going to play this one a little bit differently, going in with Haunter. I'm going to decide to shield this Shadow Ball here, which was the right move. It would have been a one-hit KO. And those Shadow Claws are just ripping this Alolan Marowak down. I'm going to fire off a Shadow Punch here, and it is going to get shielded. A couple more Shadow Claws, and I'm actually going to let Haunter fall here. Choose not to use my shield. Instead, opting to bring in a different Pokemon, which is Gardevoir. Guys, this system is extremely intuitive. It's exactly what you would expect. In comes Steelix, and I'm watching my switch timer down there. It actually does give you the number for the switch timer, so you know how many seconds you have left, which is very helpful for your timing. In comes the Poliwrath. I do have Lucario still in there. I get a little bit of energy, probably a little too greedy, but I've already swapped, so I need to make the best of it. That Poliwrath is really weak, so I'm going to try to go for the Power-Up Punch to finish it off. We do take down Poliwrath. In comes Steelix. We're going to fire off another Power-Up Punch here. Only thing I'm concerned about now is whether or not Lucario can survive this Crunch, which I don't think it can. Oh, it's actually Earthquake. Definitely can't survive that. So in comes my Gardevoir again. I'm trying to get to a charge move here, but that Steelix is just too quick. It does get the Crunch to finish us off. Again, reviewing our statistics, I did use 1 shield on Gardevoir, 1 shield on Haunter. You can actually go more into the shield deployment and energy usage and gains up there at the top. So if you're interested in that, you can always do that. I click on New Match here. I'm actually going to show you a little bit of how to move this Pokemon around as well. So as you see Gardevoir, Haunter, and Lucario, I'm actually going to remove Gardevoir from my team and bring in Mawile instead. I'm going to run Bite, Play Rough, and Power Up Punch. As you can tell, there's no way to switch the order of your team. Maybe if there is, let me know in the comments below. I think that might be one quality of life improvement that PvPoke could maybe consider. Otherwise, though, it's a fantastic platform. It really helps you to practice when you don't have other trainers around. So I'm going to bring in Poliwrath on my opponent's team. As you can tell, the lead would be Haunter versus Steelix. So I'm going to make a couple more adjustments here. I'm going to remove my Haunter and instead go in here with Gardevoir. I do switch it to Charm, running Synchronize, and I pick Return for that one just to see what it does. This also gives you an opportunity to try out things that you've not tried. I'm going to up the difficulty as well to Champion. Let's see how it goes, battlers. Going into this round, I do win the lead as I knew I would, but that swap was so fast. In comes Alola Marowak. I do decide to go into Mawile, and you can just see that Alola Marowak getting eaten alive by these bites. I'm going to shield this Bone Club. Oh, it's actually Shadow Ball. The computer knows as well that it needs to get off as much damage as it can, judging by the rate at which it's going to faint. It does get off another charge move, which is another Shadow Ball, so I'm actually going to double shield my Mawile. My opponent's up 2 shields. He brings in the Poliwrath. It does have Bubble. I'm going to use the Power Punch here and just do as much chip damage as possible. As you can tell, my switch timer just ticked down, so I make a fast swap into Lucario. That was probably not the right move, as Lucario is going to get hashtag get wrecked by that Power Up Punch. I'm going to fire for Power Up Punch of my own. That Poliwrath does decide to shield, so I think the computer thought I was baiting it there. Fires off another Power Up Punch, and that Poliwrath is really ramped up. I have an excellent counter in Gardevoir, but my Mawile is very weak in the back, and in comes my worst nightmare, Steelix. Steelix is going to be really hard to beat with the Pokemon that I have right now. It does fire off the Earthquake, and essentially one-shots our Gardevoir. I go here for the return. Doesn't really do much, but this game is pretty much all but over. I do bring in my Mawile here, trying to wear down this Steelix, but not before it gets to another charge move. It's going to fire off the Earthquake to finish us off. In comes Gardevoir, and a few more Dragon Tails do the trick. As you can see there, I didn't use any shields on Mawile. He double shielded Alola Marowak. Going into this second round, this is a rematch. Let's try this again. So I go in with Lucario. There's Alola Marowak again. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball pressure, and the computer decides not to shield. That is how realistic this can be. Your opponent can make the mistake of not shielding in certain situations, just like a real life player. So this Poliwrath's going to use a Power Punch against my Gardevoir. I'm already out to a huge lead because of Lucario. If you didn't see my feature video on Lucario, definitely check that out. I posted it yesterday. I really believe Lucario is an excellent shield pressure Pokemon in Sinister Cup. Gardevoir is just going to start to work down on this Steelix. I'm not going to shield it. I just want to get as much chip damage in as possible. I do have 2 good options here. I decide to go with Lucario. I'm going to shield this attack expecting the Earthquake, and it's actually Crunch, so I did get baited there. I fire off the Power Up Punch. Awaiting the swap, I'm not sure what this computer will do. These counters are really starting to add up, and that Steelix goes down, and we win. As you can see, I didn't even use Mawile. That Power Up Punch did enough. So this is, again, the website, pvpoke.com. The link will be in the description below, so I highly encourage you battlers to check it out. It is an excellent resource, especially going to Season 2. If you enjoy this content, you know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me so much, and more videos are on the way.